Welcome to It's Not Just Menopause, the podcast that empowers you to navigate midlife with confidence through real talk, root cause insights, and no BS strategies that actually work. If you're dealing with fatigue, stubborn weight, brain fog, or just feeling off and overlooked, this show is for you. Discover what's really going on with your hormones and why it's not just about estrogen. Each episode breaks down what your doctor didn't explain, the internet got wrong, and what your body's been trying to tell you all along. From stress and metabolism to nervous system support and functional nutrition, we'll cover the tools that help you feel more like yourself, again, without restrictive diets, overwhelming plans, or hormone hype. I'm your host, Cindi, functional nutrition practitioner and certified menopause specialist. I'm here to guide you through the midlife noise so you can stop guessing, get the clarity you deserve, and finally take back control of your health. If you've ever felt dismissed, overwhelmed, or like your body just isn't responding the way it used to, you're in the right place. Let's rewrite the menopause story without the fluff. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of It's Not Just Menopause, the show that gives women in midlife, which I can't stand that term, but over 40, the real answers they've been missing. Today I'm doing something that I don't think I've done before, even in my earlier episodes. This is episode 110, but I'm going to be telling you the full story of how I got here and how I went from thinking that I was doing everything right to realizing I was fighting against a body that was overloaded, stressed, and desperately trying to get my attention. This is the moment everything changed for my health, my life, and eventually my entire business. So grab your matcha, your coffee, take me on your walk, because I'm about to take you back to the very beginning. So let's rewind to my early 40s. Back then, my body still responded. If I wanted to lose weight, I could lose weight. I actually lost 20 pounds on Nutrisystem quickly. I did it just for 2 months. I lost about 2 pounds a month, so 16 to 20 pounds. And it wasn't hard at all. It was like super easy. No effort whatsoever. I followed the plan. I checked all the boxes. I ate the food, and boom, it worked. And that gave me this false sense of security that said, I've got this. I know how my body works. I'll always be able to get back on track. I didn't realize it at the time, but that confidence was built on a younger body with a completely different hormonal landscape. I thought I understood the rules. I didn't know that the entire rule book was about to change. And that was probably before I was had started perimenopause. Or I was in the very beginning of perimenopause, but hadn't really had any symptoms yet to let me know. But then a few years later, I tried to repeat what had worked before, and nothing happened. So here I was, probably my mid to late 40s. I would say probably 46, 47 maybe. And I mean, nothing happened. And I don't mean slow progress. I mean nothing. Zero movement, zero results, zero change. I didn't lose. I tried it again for 2 months. Didn't lose a damn thing. No weight, no nothing. Before we get back to today's episode, I've got a quick question for you. Feel like your body's in chaos, but your labs are normal? You're not crazy, you're not broken, and you're definitely not alone. If you've been told it's just menopause or to wait it out, it's time for real answers. Take my free quiz, What's Really Driving Your Menopause Symptoms. In under 2 minutes, you'll uncover your top hidden stressor and get my free guide, The Menopause Stress Fix, sent straight to your inbox. Head to cindistickle.com/quiz or click the link in the show notes. If you're doing everything right, but still feel like a mess, this quiz is your next step. All right, let's get back to today's episode. And that's when the frustration crept in. But I didn't slow down. I pushed harder. like everybody, right? Like all women. I turned to the workouts I always trusted. My mountain biking indoors. I had a real mountain bike for outdoors, but I put it on a stand so that I could do it indoors, like when it's over 100 degrees for about 7 months in Texas, or in the wintertime when it gets a little cooler or rainy. So I would just do it indoors. And back then, I was in grad school. I was getting my master's degree in environmental studies. So there was a lot of reading. And so I would sit on the bike and do homework. I would read what I had to read while I rode my bike. And I mean, I was riding I was getting my heart rate way up there. I was, it was very high impact, which at the time I didn't know was bad. And then I was on the treadmill and I was going for long periods of time, higher inclines, faster speeds, again, not knowing it was really hurting my body. I tried the HIIT workouts that made my heart race and I felt like I was going to die. And also at this time, I was eating cleaner and back to the original clean eating definition, not the new crap that people are talking about. The one where you're removing toxins and you're basically eating whole food. You're not eating ultra processed foods. And right before I went to grad school, I had discovered about GMOs, genetically modified organisms, and how they're adding toxins to pretty much our entire food supply. And I started making everything from scratch to remove the toxins, and sugar, which sugar is also a GMO crop. And because my kids put ketchup on everything, I was making homemade ketchup. Because you have to remember, this is back in the probably 2008, 2009, 2010. I started grad school in 2011. So I started making food before I went back to grad school. And so there was one ketchup on the shelf. That was it. Now there's about 20 different ones. So you had to make food from scratch if you wanted it healthier. And I also had Hashimoto's since 2001. So I was avoiding soy like the plague because soy interrupts with your thyroid medicine absorption. And soy is in every processed food that's out there. Okay? It's also a GMO crop. It's one of the top GMO crops in the United States. So I was making everything from scratch to avoid gluten, also for my thyroid, the soy, and then sugar for my kids and everything, just because I knew how bad our food supply was. And it even got worse when I took a food safety course in grad school and really realized that our food supply is not controlled by our own government. It's controlled by the lobbyists for the big crappy food companies out there that don't have healthy food, and they pay off the Congress people to vote in their favor. So that's a whole other topic. I may even have an episode already on GMOs way back when. But I was also doing that. So I knew I was eating cleaner and I knew I was eating healthier. But that's still, it still wasn't enough to help what my body was trying to tell me, okay? And I kept thinking, there's no way I'm doing all this and getting nothing back. But that's exactly what happened. My energy dipped, the bloating kicked up a notch, my sleep got worse, my motivation tanked, and my confidence went right along with it. I really felt like, why even bother? Because nothing's working. And of course, the cherry on top was, it's just normal for your age. The biggest load of crap that's out there. I think that's what doctors are taught to say in med school. Just say it's just normal for your age. You don't have to do anything else to help your patient, right? But that dismissal, that was gasoline on the frustration fire. They freaking pissed me off, okay? Because nothing about what I was feeling felt normal. And this is where the story turns, okay? Because when I was trying harder, that's what became the problem, okay? But it wasn't a dramatic change. It was quiet. I didn't crash overnight. I didn't wake up one morning and think, perimenopause, right? It was a slow unraveling. The harder I pushed, the worse I felt. And at first, I blamed myself. Maybe I just wasn't disciplined enough. Maybe I wasn't trying hard enough. Maybe this really was aging. Maybe I needed to cut more calories, add more workouts, push more intensity. But every time I turned up the pressure, my body turned down its response, like it just was backfiring. And it felt like quicksand. The more effort I threw in, the deeper I sank. And this is where so many women get stuck. In that silent, private panic of what is happening to me and why can't I fix it? But then came the moment that I finally paid attention, okay? Here's the truth. I wish I had a dramatic movie moment, right? But the reality was it's quieter, okay? There are no, like light bulb moments or, just where it hits you over the head and you're like, oh, that was it, right? It's a slow build, unfortunately. But my body simply hit its limit, right? My stress was so high. My sleep was all over the place. My hormones were shifting. My nervous system was constantly activated. I was also teaching middle school math at this time too. So anyone who's ever been a teacher knows the stress. Anyone who hasn't been a teacher doesn't understand it at all. So don't even try. But those that have been in the sucky education system in America, then you understand. I mean, I was breaking out in the hives just a few years ago, okay, from the stress of teaching. But yeah, my nervous system was constantly activated. All right, so between my hormones tanking and me stressing my body out from teaching and then stressing my body out from over exercising and not eating right, my nervous system was just not working correctly. And the more I pushed, the louder my symptoms got. And that's when I realized something no one talks about. It wasn't a willpower problem. It wasn't a discipline problem. It wasn't a motivation problem. It was a stress and hormone problem. My body wasn't disobedient. It was overloaded. So when I shifted into a different approach, one that was built on calming my system instead of stressing it more, everything changed. I stopped fighting my body, and my body finally responded. The bloating eased, my energy started to return, my metabolism stopped fighting me, my confidence started to come back, and I started to feel like myself again in a deeper way than I had in years. But then I realized it wasn't just me, right? With all my nutrition training, I could see the connection clearly. Stress leads to nervous system dysregulation, which leads to hormone disruption, which leads to symptoms. But the thing that hit me hardest was this. If I struggled, someone with more nutrition hours than my master's degree, and anyone who's gotten a master's degree knows how hard that is. I have more nutrition hours than that. If I struggled to figure this out, what about the women who didn't have that background? What about the women doing everything right? Again, cleaning up their diet, exercising, drinking water, which we have to drink water, and still feeling like strangers in their own bodies? What about the women whose doctors told them this is just aging or everything looks normal? Don't get me started. That's why I added functional nutrition and I can actually run labs for you. Okay? So you can see what's normal, what's not. Or they tell you just lose weight. It's most likely a man doctor telling you that. So I knew I had to speak up. I knew I had to teach it differently. And I knew women needed more than surface level advice. And that's when my mission was born. Okay? Everything I teach on this podcast, inside my programs, in my content comes down to the same core belief. You cannot heal a body that feels unsafe. And that's what your body is doing when your nervous system is dysregulated. Your body is in constant fight or flight, meaning its stress is beyond high. And it shuts down all your other systems. You've heard me talk about this on here. Okay? And women don't need more discipline. They don't need more punishment. They don't need more dieting. They need a regulated nervous system. They need root cause nutrition. They need hormone support that actually makes sense. They need someone who treats their symptoms like data, not inconveniences. Those symptoms are giving you information, and if you just sit back and listen to it, you can find the answers, and that's what I help you with. And women need to understand menopause isn't a problem. It's a physiology shift. Okay? A shift that can absolutely thrive with the right tools. That's why my approach starts with the nervous system, then rebuilds a foundation from the inside out. It's why my work is no BS, because I don't give you false hope or information for your 20s, right? Because that's already out there on social media and doctors. It's why my programs don't rely on eat less, move more. Actually, rest. We need more rest on our menopause journey. And it's why helping women feel at home in their bodies again is the thing I am most passionate about. Okay, so that is the story. That's the real one. The shift that made me realize nothing was wrong with my body and nothing is wrong with yours either. Your body is responding to stress, hormones, and years of pushing. Besides, women tend to do more for others anyway, on top of whatever's like ignoring your own bodies, okay? And once you learn how to work with your body instead of against it, and everything changes, okay? If you want the simplest place to start, the place I wish existed when all of this was happening to me, download my free nervous system morning reset, and the link is in the show notes. 5 simple little things, okay? And you don't even have to do all 5 every day, okay? It's small, it's practical, and it will help your body feel safe, which is the foundation of all hormone healing. Okay, so please, if you know someone, a woman, a friend of yours, whatever, who needs to hear this, please share this with them. Also, please leave a review. I'm not looking to get the most reviews out there in podcast land, but Spotify and Apple Podcasts don't share podcasts if they don't have a lot of reviews. So the more reviews I have, the more this gets shared with other women. Okay, so please, again, leave a comment, leave a review, email me, let me know how this resonated, and I will be in your headphones next week. Thank you for tuning in to It's Not Just Menopause. I hope today's episode gave you real clarity about what's actually going on in your body and reminded you that it's not just your hormones and it's definitely not your fault. If you found value in this conversation, make sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Cindi Stickle Nutrition, or head to cindystickle.com for more resources and personalized support on your menopause and midlife health journey. Until next time, keep questioning what you've been told and trust that your body is not broken. You just need the truth and the tools that actually work.